So all the Tolkien fans out there, all the diehard Lord of the Rings fans out there, and even the casuals like myself, we have all been coming together to try and ratio every single piece of marketing material that Amazon puts out for the Amazon Lord of the Rings series, which is called Rings of Power. But now we have even more evidence that not only is everything not just straight up not looking good for this show, you know, the show just doesn't look that good, and it's also obviously everyone can see that it's contradictory to Tolkien's work, it's not respecting Tolkien's work. We have even more evidence now, and I'm sure as time goes on, and especially when the show comes out and people can dissect every single episode, every single scene, we'll have more contradictions, we'll have more disrespecting of Tolkien's work. But today we have a lot of more evidence that goes toward that actually happening. First, I want to pull up this ratio right here, 102k likes to 134,000 dislikes. Pretty crazy ratio that I got this bad. 28 million views is a lot of views on a trailer, and to ratio a trailer with that many views, especially for an IP as big as Lord of the Rings, like ratioing the everything's gonna be all white trailer. If you don't know what that situation is, I have a video about it. You can go check it out. I posted it a few days ago. It's a pretty big situation, but no one really cares about everything's all white. You know, it's not an established legacy IP. It's nothing like that. So with Lord of the Rings, it's already going to have that built-in fan base that just see a Lord of the Rings trailer. You're a casual fan. You don't really understand what Amazon is doing to your favorite IP. You just see that there's a new Lord of the Rings show. You go to the trailer and you like the video. You know, there's a lot of people that has the built-in audience, but the people who are red-pilled, the people who are consciously aware of what Amazon is trying to do and what all these big studios are trying to do to these older IPs by, you know, not respecting the source material, by not respecting the original creators like George Lucas, like Tolkien. They're just simply getting these old IPs, buying these old IPs, trying to make them new by ignoring the source material and injecting their own agendas, injecting their own politics into the shows. It's really sad, but it's really great to see all these people sticking up for the original Lord of the Rings and for the creator of Lord of the Rings. It's great to see because obviously Tolkien's not here to defend himself, but they're using Tolkien quotes directly. It's not just Tolkien fans coming here and saying, oh, this show's going to be trash. They're spamming Tolkien quotes directly from the mouth of the creator of Lord of the Rings. It's crazy how accurate some of these quotes are as well, and they're also putting some Peter Jackson quotes in there that just destroy Amazon's Lord of the Rings as well. But evil is not capable of creating anything new. It can only distort and destroy what has been invented or made by the forces of good. That's the Tolkien quote that most people are spamming in these comment sections on the Amazon Lord of the Rings trailers, and also in my comment sections, which I mean, obviously I don't mind it. You know, I love Tolkien. I think that he created probably one of the best trilogies of all time. Obviously he didn't directly create the trilogy, but he created Lord of the Rings, which spawned one of the best trilogies of all time, and a lot of people consider it the best trilogy of all time. I asked in my last video, what was your favorite sci-fi? I was putting Lord of the Rings under the sci-fi genre. I understand that it's technically considered fantasy, but there's so much overlap between the two genres that there's more to compare it to if you just put it under the sci-fi banner. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously it's not sci-fi, but I was saying, like, in comparison to Star Wars and Marvel and everything like that, what is your favorite series? And a lot of people were saying Lord of the Rings. Obviously, I think it's probably objectively the best series of all time. For all you Lord of the Rings fans out there, we have some new merch in the store. We had the Ruined by Kathleen Kennedy merch for the Star Wars fans, and then highly requested was some merch for the Lord of the Rings fans. So we made the Ruined by Amazon merch if you want to express your displeasure with the Amazon Lord of the Rings series. And also, if you want to be more positive, we have the Directed by Peter Jackson merch. The link is in the description. Let's get back to the video. If you don't include the Hobbit movies, because, you know, the Hobbit movies are disliked by a lot of people. I've never seen them simply because of how many people have said that they're not worth watching, but Lord of the Rings movies, it's pretty undeniable that they have to be up there for one of the best, if not the best, objectively, of all time. My favorite is Star Wars, but let me know in the comments what your favorite is. This video, this trailer, you know, it's just the UK version of the other one, same thing. 5 million views, but the ratio is a lot worse. 23,000 likes to 53,000 dislikes. Comments are all the same thing. Evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt. Let's go over to the India version. This ratio is not as bad, but it's getting there. 16 million views. I just think this is really funny. This comment right here. Are you ready for September 2nd? And they put the little emoji with the sunglasses on. Like they thought they were going to get some great responses to this. Ready to rewatch the original trilogy instead of this garbage? Yes. I'm ready to give 0 score to this SHIT on every platform. You have no respect to Tolkien filming SJW movies. No, we ain't. That's right. Worst opinion on each platform for this profanation. Cancel it. No one's saying positive stuff. No one's like, yeah, we're so ready for September 2nd. We're so ready. And I think this is kind of proof that all these likes that are on this video, there gotta be bots. A lot of them gotta be bots. Same thing on the US version. I really truly think that these are bots, because look at this one. Unlisted, 153 likes to 12k dislikes. How does this one, this unlisted video of these super fans talking about Lord of the Rings, which Nerdrotic, I believe, did a deep dive into who each one of these people are on the panel. I believe they're all either YouTubers or influencers, and none of them have ever mentioned Lord of the Rings on their YouTube channels or their social media in the past before. So it's crazy how a Lord of the Rings super fan, a super fan is a strong word. A super fan would be like me with Star Wars. If you go look at my old videos, I've done like a lot of Star Wars lore videos. I've done a lot of Star Wars news and rumor videos. To have a Lord of the Rings super fan be as their job, an influencer or a YouTuber or whatever it is, not mention Lord of the Rings a single time in their entire YouTube/social media career, I don't think you're much of a super fan. I think that's a straight up lie, and they were probably paid actors if I had to guess. But just looking at the like to dislike ratio, 153 to 12,000 dislikes, I think that they just didn't put the like bots on this one because it's unlisted, because they unlisted the video because of how embarrassing this video was and the reactions that it got. It immediately got ratioed like crazy because of how just cringy this was. Amazon is mocking millions of Lord of the Rings fans. It's so disgusting. And then here's the Peter Jackson quote. If you want to read it, pause the video. It's a great quote talking about how they didn't want to inject politics into the original Lord of the Rings trilogy because they just wanted to respect Tolkien as much as possible. A lot of people are saying they actually didn't respect Tolkien in that one, but I think they did obviously a much better job than this Amazon series is going to do. And I respect Peter Jackson for actually being open and honest about that. I think a lot more people need to have that mentality when they're going into creating these films, especially for the legacy IPs. Whenever you're continuing or rebooting whatever it is, you need to have that attitude where you're just trying to respect the original content or respect the original creator. No one does that anymore. No one respects where the stuff actually comes from, and it's really sad. And that's when you get stuff like the new Matrix movie or the Star Wars sequel trilogy or this Amazon Lord of the Rings series, Rings of Power. That's why that happens. I'm sure these influencers' opinions on the trailer is not affected by being invited by Amazon. Totally genuine reactions. Inviting people to react to your marketing is such cringe. And they didn't even talk about anything that happens in the show. They didn't talk about any of the lore of Lord of the Rings. They didn't talk about anything like that. They only talked about the diversity and, two women finally get to talk to each other in Lord of the Rings and how big of a deal that is and stuff like that. But here's what I was talking about, where we have some new info and some new evidence that Amazon Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is just simply disrespecting Tolkien and the source material as a whole. Because in this article, it's a few days old, but I saw somebody brought it up on Twitter, and I don't know how this slipped past a lot of people, but there have been female dwarves in The Hobbit. And I haven't, like I said, I've never watched that. But let me see if it says directly where this is from. It was worth mentioning that the first live action appearance of a female dwarf occurred in The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey from 2012. Director Peter Jackson saw it fit to include facial hair to this character, but something will inadvertently change this September when Rings of Power debuts on Prime Video. And if you remember back to the quote that I just talked about, I think it's on this video, yeah, right here, where Peter Jackson talks about he doesn't care about injecting politics or anything like that into his movies, especially the Lord of the Rings movies, because he just wants to respect Tolkien. This is what he's talking about. You have to put facial hair on the dwarves because that's what Tolkien wrote into his books. And even the people who try to debunk this, I've debunked their debunking of this because they're directly contradicting themselves in the same statements that they're making trying to debunk this, man. It doesn't make any sense what they're trying to say. I did a video on that a while ago where the guy, he's the Tolkien professor or whatever his name is. He tried to say that Tolkien didn't explicitly state that female dwarves have facial hair, but in the same sentence, the guy said that all male dwarves have facial hair and that females are indistinguishable from the males. So by proxy, the females have to have facial hair. And even Peter Jackson understood this, who a lot of people complained that he didn't follow Tolkien's work. He didn't continue Tolkien's legacy to the degree that he should have. And even he had the female dwarves with facial hair. And obviously it's not a flattering look. They don't look attractive or anything. And I think that was what Amazon's problem was. They were like, we can't make this lady, this already not too attractive lady look even more unattractive. But we're not watching it to see a dwarf as attractive. We're just trying to be immersed in a universe, and we're trying to see Tolkien's work respected. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about all these Tolkien fans absolutely destroying Amazon Lord of the Rings? And also this picture right here proving that even in live action, already Lord of the Rings has had female dwarves with facial hair, and Amazon is still going to stick to their guns and not have their female dwarves with facial hair. Let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link to that will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.